followers that it is time. And there we go. People are starting to come on. Welcome, Stand Up Paddle community. We're super happy to have you back. It's Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. That must mean it's time for another Sup Connect Live, where we are interviewing just some of the many, many interesting people in the world of stand-up paddling. We're really trying to provide a big variety here. So thanks to Sup Connect. My name is Kristen Thomas. I'm thrilled to get to host these events online. They are live, and then they immediately go to Instagram TV and are also saved on Sup Connect's YouTube. They have their own channel, Sup Connect Live, so you can go back and see any of this interview that you missed or others. Super stoked today to have Zane Schweitzer. Again, we look for variety. Well, this guy is so multifaceted and has done so much in his young life within stand-up paddling, but definitely beyond also. So we will be talking about his life as a waterman. I know that's a debated term, but he is a true waterman, including winning a worldwide championship in that event. He is an author. He has produced all kinds of video content and short movie. He was in a film fest. He has a very famous family, and like water has been part of his entire life. Looking to find him here. Hello to those of you who, he's messaging. And hopefully I didn't kill the video on doing that. Hi, Shark9733 and Detox Paddle Company. I think I might have cut you guys off by answering his message. Well, hopefully Zane can find us over here on Instagram Live, because you will not want to miss speaking with him. I'm afraid if I answer, let's see, I can probably answer it on my computer so I don't knock you guys out again. But we have had so much fun talking to different people on this platform. Interesting, difficult times right now. Hey, Sean, how you doing? Franco, I think I saw Lindsay Yoga on there. I'm doing fine. And it's funny though, Instagram handles Shark9733. I probably know who you are, but I don't remember your handle. Sorry, trying to help Zane find it. But all these different platforms are so interesting because we don't always have them. Where's that 808 number? Oh, he's on his own live. Okay, I'm sure he'll make it over here. But again, so much to talk to. The Schweitzers are a Maui family that are well known, but I think Zane's really made his name in just so many different ways. He goes by many names. I think he's had a lot of fun with his variations on Zane, in Zane and Zaniac, but really cause-driven, like lovely family. So many different things we can talk about in terms of great things that they have done. And he himself then is really launched into, a true environmentalist, and is really leading the way in a lot of ways for water people doing great things. So I don't know if any of you know him. Maybe you can get him over here. Text him. There he is. Yay. Found us. Zane. Or Zaniac. Did I mention that name? I did. There he is.
What's up,
Yay.
you guys? Kristen, sorry about that. I was on my page waiting to connect through the duel on that end. So sorry.
Okay. Well, you actually are the pro at this, and there are a lot of different ways to do it, aren't there? Yeah. So it looks like it's a beautiful day in Maui. Thank you so much for joining us. Thrilled to have you. Got a crowd flowing in here, and they was telling them a little bit about the many things that you're involved in and what you do. But again, thanks to Sup Connect for letting me interview you. These are every Thursday at 1. We also have a follow-up group, you guys, on Facebook. And I wish I could show you live video on this, because Zane has some amazing pictures and maybe a video too that we're going to post up there, as well as links to the many to get a hold of him, all the things that he's doing and also the organizations and different events that he's really been involved with, which are a lot. So, Zaniac in Zane Kikoa Schweitzer.
Right on.
Tell
Good
us
to
about,
meet
I mean,
so
you are
much.
from a water family, so get us started with a little bit of your background and where stand-up paddling got into that, because I know it wasn't the first water sport, was it?
Yeah, definitely not. So, yeah, as you're mentioning, we kind of coming from a long family of watermen and waterwomen, and grew up in a really fortunate environment to have a lot of mentors and be influenced by nature around us in Maui. And as well, our culture. Our culture really ties into responsibility to be stewards of our environment and to as well be a part of a community. Take roles that we could be proud of to uplift our community and the environment. So, throughout my endeavors through sport, originally it was surfing was my first passion. Then moved into a lot of windsurfing events. That was the first Junior World Championship tour I was able to follow was for windsurf. And my first Junior World title win was in windsurfing as well. And so stand-up paddling only came into my life when I was about, I want to say between the age of 12 and 13, somewhere around there, between 2006 and 2008. And it was a fun sport because for me, I could combine the techniques from shortboard surfing and longboard surfing and be able to do turns utilizing the paddle and walk the nose utilizing the length of the board. And I had fun with it because it was something I could play around on even when the waves weren't good. And, as a young kid, anything's fun and exciting and part of that learning process. So I'm grateful that stuff came about into my life and that I was able to pursue it because just shortly after my first few experiences on a subboard, opportunity started presenting itself. And, from being able to compete in the first stand-up world tour event at Sunset Beach Pro to being able to take on a full-time career with Starboard, following both the Windsurf World Tour and the SUP World Tour. And, yeah, here we are today, flash forward, 15 years, and been able to feel like I've been able to, push the limits of something I'm passionate about and as well share this joy with so many people. It's a big part of what I do is not just, of course, the maneuvers and the actual sport, but being able to share it. And so I'm so grateful to be a part of this community.
Well, we're lucky to have you. And it's so interesting that you say not until I was 12 or 13, because for so many of us, it came about, Maui, Hawaii, you guys were really in early. And so anything before 2010 is really early for getting into it. And I know there was a group of you, the Maui boys, we call you, who were friends when you were very young. And I'm sure encouraged each other, pushed each other, had fun. I think I saw once a birthday party picture with all of you guys and Talia, so one girl.
Oh yeah.
When you were pretty young.
Right.
Yeah, because you all, and again, you're so great. Your gratitude just shines through and your joy and fun and everything. But that you do live in this place where almost all of you had parents that were very involved in surfing and or windsurfing, probably both in most cases. Yeah. So we'll get back to the sport of it. And I have to say, you are one of the few who look like you are as at home on water, on a board, as on land. And it's just amazing to watch your grace and style and comfort. And you talked about walking to the nose. And you do quite a few different tricks and things we'll get back to. But I know that the definition of waterman is sometimes kind of challenged, and it's very cultural in Hawaii and everything. But to me, you are the true definition because the culture, the passion, your appreciation for nature and environment, as well as being such a rad person on the water who does all these different sports. And I think a big event, I believe it only happened 2 or 3 times down in New Zealand. Was it New Zealand each time? So you are the champion. Talk a bit about that event and bringing everything together.
Yeah, so before I get into that part of the competition, like you mentioned, I want to mention that, everyone listening has the opportunity to create their own wave of success. You don't necessarily need to be in the position I was, because I know many people listen to my story and think, oh, well, my parents didn't drive me to the beach, or, I never had surfboards to practice on growing up. But just know that, if we are truly passionate about something, we will search for mentorship and we will put ourselves in that environment to learn. We will surround ourselves around those people that will influence. And so, regardless of the situation of the fortunate position I had growing up, I think it's all up to our personal choices we make to continue following those opportunities. And I just wanted to put that out there. Mm-hmm. Because I know many people in our world right now that have only been in the sport for a few years and they're already on a world-class level. So moving into the Ultimate Waterman event, which took place in New Zealand, it's a 8-sport surf competition, surf and paddle competition, very much so encompassing the, pride and sports practice of the watermen and waterwomen. And so it consisted of shortboard surfing, longboard surfing, stand-up paddle surfing, canoe racing, surf ski racing, stand-up paddle racing, underwater strength and endurance.
That's crazy, yeah.
Prone paddleboard racing, like a Surf Life Rescue, and big wave. And so I believe I hit all 8 there.
Yes, I think you hit 8. It's a lot.
So those 8 sports are performed within 8 days. And so every day we're moving into a different competition. And it is just such an action-packed event and something I'm so proud to have been a part of, And of course, taking home the victories twice in a row was huge, and still to this day the results I'm most proud of. But as well, having the opportunity to learn from that group of athletes and to be immersed around this genre of athlete, because there's not many sportsmen that carry so many skills under their belt, and also a deep understanding and appreciation of the environment that we practice those sports in. And so so grateful for Greg Towerson, Titus Keenimaka, Laird Hamilton, all who put together the Ultimate Waterman competition to give us the opportunity to perform on a world level as watermen. And it's definitely a unique lifestyle. You hear the word waterman being thrown around a lot, and what I truly believe that means is the ability to adapt with the ever-changing conditions of our ocean. It doesn't necessarily mean to be a master of many crafts, because yes, that comes along with it, but the reason we become masters of many crafts is because we're immersed in this environment and we have these conditions that are changing in front of us often. And so whether it be putting food on the table to gather from the ocean, or whether it be utilizing the wind to get to another island, or paddling to transport ourselves or get exercise or have some sort of sport within a community, is something that we as Hawaiians really take pride in. Our sport within our nation here is surfing and paddling. So it's really tied into the roots of the culture.
Well, you're an amazing ambassador for that, I have to say. I mean, again, that you tie all of these things together. Yeah. But go ahead.
I appreciate that, Kristen. Thank you. I have a lot of people to look up to within our community, and one of the people I've always tried to reflect with their way they went about fulfilling purpose with life and their passions is Duke Kahanamoku. Duke Kahanamoku was a legendary Hawaiian waterman who was a 5-time Olympic medalist, 3-time gold medalist. He introduced surfing to the world. On his early travels as an Olympian, he brought surfboard with him, and mind you, a traditional Hawaiian surfboard made of solid wood. And he himself brought surfing to the world, but along with that, the aloha spirit and what it means to be Hawaiian. And I think on my travels, when I tell people I'm from Hawaii, people light up. And I really do like to say that it could be very well because of that spirit that Duke Kahanamoku left behind on his travels. And because many Hawaiians after him followed in similar footsteps, we had a really good person to look up to. You know, between guys like him and Eddie Aikau, real humble, you know, stewards of the ocean and masters of many crafts. And so throughout these competitive goals, I think it's important to, you know, not forget that it's so important to have purpose. And ego is not a driving purpose. You know, there's too many athletes in today's day and age that are driven by ego means of growth. And I think for our world needs more people following their purpose and their passions.
Well, you have done a beautiful job of spreading that. You're an author. I have my autographed copy of your book, Beneath the Surface. And you've been in other books. I told you I still need an autograph on your chapter in this one. So again, that versatility. You've been in movies. Right now, you're doing a little bit in Immersed TVs on environment. So author, environmentalist, I mean, you're really spreading that, what you're talking about, or reflecting it. I like that word, but I love your words of encouragement too, for all that they can do those things. Let's talk a little bit about your amazing reach with environmentalism and what you're getting out there, and just, it's a beautiful life that it looks like you're living there, very organic, and looks like you have stuff growing on your family compound there. Do you guys grow a lot of your own food?
Yeah, we try and be self-sustainable as much as possible here on our family farm. And one of the things that I think has really stuck as an important practice after all this quarantine time was how important it is to feel somewhat sustainable in your household with your family. And so, you know, early on with this whole coronavirus thing, a lot of food and grocery stores were limited with the resources, but as well, kind of not really wanting to put ourselves in that environment for risk of germs and the virus. So we were super proud that we had food on our property growing, you know, and I'm not saying everything we need, but hey, we have, you know, a lot of great tropical fruits, a wide variety of citrus. We grow a ton of different vegetables and herbs. And so on our family property on any day, we could be making a salad together from the garden and picking mangoes and avocado and taro and sweet potato and banana and, you know, all these different things that we have the ability to grow. But I think everyone in one way or another has that same ability. Once again, just because we're in Hawaii doesn't mean you can't do this too. Yeah. You know, everyone has the chance to make a small little garden box, even if it's a windowsill garden box, and be able to, you know, experience what it's like to grow your own food, even if it's just, you know, some mellow herbs. But
yeah, I think the situation did motivate many to do that. We have 3 new raised beds on our deck because of that. But I have to just say, one of your viewers, C. Ramirez, says, best salad ever.
Yeah, Carlos, we had him and his wahine up to our house recently, and we built a big salad for them straight from the garden. And that's one of our favorite things to do when we have guests over, you know, is to share the food that we've grown and to as well share a healthy meal. You know, not everybody has access to healthy meals. You know, a lot of the kids who go to school in our country are forced to have pretty unhealthy meals for their daily, you know, nutrition. And so to be able to share a healthy meal with someone is such a gift. But to share the practice of building a garden is a lifetime gift. I mean, that's the gift that keeps giving. And so, you know, it's been so fun to share with our friends and family.
Yeah, I'm curious. You've had a partnership with Starboard for a long time, and they seem to very much support you. I don't know which one came first, but they, you know, I've met Sven before, and he cares about, you know, green initiatives. And, you know, for a board company, there's some tough practices in making a board and what boards are made of to be really green. But I do feel like as a board company, they've supported you and supported that cause. I'm guessing that you've helped them along the way in that cause.
Most definitely. Oh, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for Uncle Sven's influence. You know, Sven Rasmussen, the owner of Starboard, has greatly nudged me on the path I'm on today. From gifting me my first windsurf board under the Christmas tree at the age of 10 or 11 years old, to encouraging me to take on the new sport of SUP while I was already doing great work for him in windsurf. He could have easily just been like, let's let these kids focus on windsurf. Mm-hmm. But no, he wanted us to be diverse and to share the ocean. And early on, when he encouraged us to coach and to teach kids, and he would send us with extra boards even, so that we could share this sport when it was new and fresh. And that really inspired me to teach and to share, and so even as an activist for the ocean and the environment, he really inspired me to mind my daily choices and to be aware that these daily choices can either uplift the environment and community or topple down on us and create a serious ripple effect that causes harm within a community and an environment. And so, Starboard's influence on me, I'll be forever grateful for, not just for the opportunity to pursue my passions and career in the ocean, but as well for opening my mind to so many different things, to the humility of sharing joy with others, the importance of being a steward of the environment we practice in, and as well, to really push the limits and to embrace innovation quality, not just in our products we use on our day-to-day, but as well on our daily choices that contribute to our health and to where we end up. It's a lot of people ask me, how did you get to where you are, as an athlete, an author, activist, and all these things at such a young age. And I really say, I don't know. It's just like these opportunities present themselves, and I'm just so drawn to saying yes. I'm so drawn to just jumping through that window of opportunity. And many times that's gotten me in trouble. I've many times been a yes man when it's gotten me into situations where I didn't necessarily need to be in. But I tell you what, those optimistic yes moments that I have made have brought me onto a path that have allowed me to find purpose. From our 5 gyres trip in Indonesia to our parlay for the oceans, ocean school. I wouldn't have said yes to those opportunities if I wouldn't have had a little bit of encouragement from, Sven and as well my mom and my family, just because you are stuck in a way, whether it's a job or school or whatever, doesn't mean that you could bend that path towards a direction you want to go in, and so for me, there was many times where I felt like I'm juggling too much. Maybe I should focus on just surfing. I could be that world champion surfer. But these opportunities to paddle present themselves, opportunities to teach and to share stories and to, be a valued community member. And to me, those are memories that I'll remember forever. It's the results already get lost in my memory bank. I mean, I can't even remember the years of the competitions that I've won, let alone name all the locations I've been to in the last year, so, but I'll remember those faces and those smiles and those experiences. And, it's those genuine human connections that we really can't take for granted.
Lovely. Absolutely lovely. And so true. And so there is it's almost, because you are such an incredible athlete and you have had success, I think people sometimes think, and in Zane sounds like you're crazy, and yet you are a very grounded young man who really has done these amazing things. Saying yes as an older individual, I could say, leads to opportunity always, and you learn lessons even if it wasn't the right choice, whatever that means.
100%.
It's always a learning experience. So good for you that you've done those things.
Let me stop you right there, though, Kristen, because I've made so much more mistakes in my career than I have victories. I've lost so much more events than I have won, and so we can't be afraid to make those decisions and to take those leaps of faith and to follow our gut.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause oftentimes, even if our gut is wrong, we only learn to, okay, let's try it differently next time. And so if there's ever a choice, whether, you know, that mental pull or the gut pull, I think it's important to follow your gut. You know, even if it's of the wrong choice, then you followed your gut choice, and you know there's another option to take. And so, yeah, thank you so much, Kristen, for asking that. 'Cause I think it's helpful for all the listeners, you know, to know that we all have that opportunity to create a wave of success and to really pursue our dreams relentlessly. We just have to believe and create and make it happen.
Yeah, well, I love you're such an authentic individual. I don't know if you can see the hearts flying and people saying that they're inspired. Thumbs up, they're going to go do things.
Guys.
I'm not sure if you can see that feed. Yeah, so it goes all this family history, but recently and understandably from all this that you're doing, there's really some growth in a couple of directions. Have to mention it. Let's see who. Somebody made the comment. Bob Gladwell says,
Hey, Bob.
Best marriage proposal ever. You raised the bar for everyone with that. You two deserve the best. You already have a strong ohana. Give our love to all. And he wants to know if you have any tentative plans to visit California.
Oh, right on. Robert, Bob, Michael, the family out there over in Lake Arrowhead, California.
Okay, cool.
Aloha on out there. It's good to have so much support tuning in from the Subconnect community. But yeah, that marriage proposal was very much so exactly a gut feeling. It was like, you know, in my mind, I'm like, what can I do that's romantic? That's just gonna awe drop her. That's gonna be some unforgettable. But my gut is telling me we fell in love in the ocean. That's what we do every day together. This is what really made our commitment to one another stick, you know, and everything in me, including my mom too, was a big motivator in that. You know, I was telling her the thought of, like, you know, doing it on a surfboard. She's like, you have to do it on a surfboard. Yeah. And in my mind, you know, it's unconventional. It's not right. I might drop the ring. Oh my God, this is terrible. Not a good idea. But I was like, no, I'm doing it. And like, we just pulled it together last minute. I tricked her to thinking she was doing a bikini shoot for her sponsor.
Well, she always looks darling.
Yeah, she got all prettied up. She's always beautiful, but you know, she took her time to, you know, make herself presentable, and we made a beautiful haku head lay for her, and you know, we did some tandem rides, 2 people on 1 surfboard.
Yes.
And as I had her up on my shoulders, I saw her smiling in at my Uncle B-Boy, who is the fake photographer for the shoot. And I thought, okay, this is the moment, you know. And I put her down on off my shoulders, and as I put her down, I dropped the knee and reached into my pocket. And I remember opening the box on a knee, and I had to tap her on the shoulder for her to turn around. And when she turned around, she almost fell, you know, and so she wobbled, and she dropped down to her knees, their butt, and unforgettable. I'll never forget just her surprise and her overflowing emotions, and to be able to do that on a wave, I felt so much more in my element, like, because I have that. I don't know, you call it muscle memory. I don't know what you want to call it, but I didn't feel nervous in the sense of, like,
wow.
If I was on land trying to plan a romantic evening and dropping a freaking ring in a champagne glass, I would have been so nervous trying to drop the "Will you marry me?" But it just felt so natural on the wave, and I
That's great.
Once feel nervous, and you know, once she said yes and stuff, and I put the ring on her finger, it felt right. And
well, yeah, I agree with Christy from Canada. That was so special, so cool to hear, so meaningful for you. Crazy to most of us to think that you were comfortable going from tandem to putting her down to getting out the ring, all while surfing a wave. But thank you. I'm glad somebody did. Probably did Maddie video it. He's always like but that's so cool that you shared that with that very special moment with all of us. Very special. Very special.
Yeah.
You also, though, are branching out, which is just, again, amazing for being author, but it really makes sense. I mean, that your book was really a guide, and you've talked a lot about, the manifesting and going, you can go the direction, the positive thinking that you have, journaling and the things that you work into that. But you're doing some coaching now, which just, again, makes perfect sense, both on the athletic side, which you are just at the top of your game, but also more on the personal and tell us more about the paths that you're helping lead and how people might get your advice and be able to work with you.
Well, thank you for mentioning that. It's been an exciting new journey for me recently over the last few years to really take on a role as a coach, as an educator. I'll always be a student of my community and the ocean. Forever, find a way to be humbled by the ocean and learn new things. But my grandma reminded me often that I need to share my experiences with the world and its people. She would always tell me that, I'm very fortunate to be doing what I love and to follow this life, and that it would be a shame for me to not share it with others. And so in many ways, I think of my grandma when I am sharing what I love and sharing knowledge, because these experiences are unique. And I do understand that not everyone has the chance to travel the world and do what they love. And so I've had the fortunate opportunity to be surrounded by people that have allowed me to see that it's possible. And I think sometimes that's all it takes, is to have a nudge of encouragement to know that the sky is the limit. And I think it's it's really, that's my mom.
Oh, hello, Shanine, come in. Tell her to stick her face in here for a minute and say hello.
Hi, Kristen.
Hi.
And I want to tell you, I'm so proud of you. I know everybody that watches is inspired by you. And
you're
so somebody that just pushes the limit, and to be as strong and powerful and such a leader and so involved, like with our stand up for the Quaker. So I'm really proud of you too.
Oh, thank you.
My kiss, because my mom passed away a few years ago, and I could hear him choking up. So.
Yeah. I know you guys are so close. Mwah.
We are.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for stopping in. Oh, we're having a little family session. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I feel like it's my responsibility. It's my kuleana to be there for the next generation and to be there for my community and share those lessons that I've been able to attain. And, at the end of the day, I'm here where I am with the opportunity to stand on the shoulders of these giants that I've been able to learn from. And so I truly want to share, those lessons and experiences, and more importantly, the failures and the mistakes that I've made, because geez, I've made so many damn mistakes.
You are so young to be saying that. That's very funny. But that's how we learn, I guess I come from a science background side where that is how you find solutions. That how you go forward. You make mistakes many, many, many times to find the answer. So it's okay to take those steps. Yeah. Well, Grandma's looking down on you and proud of all that you've done, doing so much more. Since family was mentioned, I Stand Up for the Cure is where I first met. I think your family in entirety would come to California for the Newport Beach one with the Vivians, which I believe are like a local family too that got it started. I mean, that having your whole family there was such a special part of that event. You were always instructing new people. You're just like spreading that joy at a really important place, and there's so much of that. So a lot of family events. Kids definitely have to throw in, because you've done you mentioned kind of that Starboard would give you extra boards. So you've been all over the world helping, but you do a really cool thing right there at home with kids. Tell us about that one.
Yeah, totally. So over the years, I've had the opportunity to share these sports I've fell in love with, and surfing, stand-up paddling, swimming, windsurfing, I think are all skills that can really connect us with our environment. And if we find a way to practice and find joy from these sports, it really does give us the opportunity to see, wow, I want to protect this. I want to be there for this environment that provides so much for me. And so I ended up starting an unofficial not-for-profit called the Zane Supergroms. And we've introduced ocean sport and intro to ocean advocacy to over 4,000 kids worldwide. And
amazing.
It's a lot of the time quite a simple pop-up shop type of event where I'm there for a competition halfway across the world. And on the free day, I'm pulling together extra boards and athletes and pulling kids off the streets and collaborating with schools and different programs. And within a whim, just trying to get as many kids from the community together and stoking them out a little bit. And it's become so rewarding. I mean, I'm really proud to have been able to share not only a connection within it and the environment. A beautiful example that comes to mind is a clinic I taught in Peru with my brother. We brought tons of extra gear and clothes because we were going to a very poverty-stricken area. We were competing for a windsurf event in Lobitos. And we ended up, in between the event, there was a day with no wind. And so we busted out our surfboards and our supboards, and we teamed up with the local school. And we got a bunch of kids just straight off the street, like literally no language.
Come on over here.
Dragging them to the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those kids didn't know how to swim, and so we had to really kind of hang with them in the shoreline, play with them. Some of them were riding waves on the board. But what was really unique is at the end of this day of playing around, and we gave away a bunch of swimwear because these kids didn't have swimwear. We gave away swim trunks and surf jerseys, and we even donated some old surfboards and supboards. And it was so amazing and so rewarding because every day after this clinic, the kids were playing in the sand, and they were playing on the beach, and they were, not in the street. Whereas we were there for days before that, and these kids were just in the street playing kick the can, a lot of the time barely clothes on their back. And so I left that trip feeling like, wow, we really made a difference. Like, we actually have potentially set these kids on a complete different life path just by giving them something to look forward to.
And the ripple effect happens too.
Yeah,
like those
totally.
Kids and probably affected families and others. Oh, that's a beautiful story.
I've been there since, and I still see kids running around in our clothes and playing, with the board we donated and stickers tagged all over that town from the stickers we gave away. So it's a really good feeling to be able to share what's brought so much joy into my life. And even on a whole nother level of that, being able to teach kids who are now junior world champions. Like Ryan Funk was someone that Connor Baxter and I took under our wing at our Zane Supergrom clinics. And he was really already into, he wanted to get more involved. And so Connor and I took him under our wing, and we had him involved at all of our kids' clinics, and he turned into a junior instructor. And then, sure enough, a starboard rider. And then a junior world champion for the ISA. And so, another one that I would like to mention is Laura Clayton, a local girl in our community.
Love her.
She is just such an inspiring powerhouse for women in our industry, in our community.
Agreed.
And I'm so grateful that hopefully I've been able to influence her as well, giving her equipment over the years and sharing training with her and her brother. And Itzel Delgado is another one of those young kids that I remember being just, not a threat at all. Like, And then all of a sudden, we're giving him tips, and a few years later, he's kicking our butts. So it's important though. It's our kuleana as athletes, as experts in any category, to share. Because if we don't share that knowledge we've learned, there goes a generation of progression, right? We have to be able to leave our next generation from where we left if we'd like to see these sports truly meeting the level it's supposed to be at. Like, I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't feel pressure from my competitors like Connor Baxter, like Kai Lenny, like Luis Denise, like Mo Freitas, like all these guys who are just amazing and motivated and dedicated. And if it wasn't for seeing them pushing the limits too, I wouldn't have that nudge to be like, I gotta spend a little more time out there. I gotta really hang with these guys and see what they're doing, and vice versa too. We all have that ability to share with others, and we have to do it.
Yeah, I love that term you use. It's Hawaiian. Is it kuleana?
Kuleana, yeah, that's it.
Like responsibility or
responsibility.
Yeah, that's a beautiful word, and I have to get the spelling on that one.
Yeah, I'll text it over to you.
So Jonathan Meacham asked a whole bunch of questions, and we can't get to all of them, but one of them was advice on how to teach helping your wife or girlfriend learn how to surf. It's funny because I run into this a lot, having learned to surf older in life, and my husband doesn't, but my friends did, and they said, I don't want to learn from my husband. So I've
seen this so much where spouses or partners just don't want to learn from their partner or spouse, or even like children not wanting to learn from their parents. I don't know why this is like how it is, but I remember being frustrated learning windsurfing with my dad, and he handed me off to his friends, and I couldn't be a little brat to them, so I think there's a means to the madness when it comes to technique of sharing, right? What I did with my fiance was I kind of heckled her. She grew up in Maui and never knew how to surf. And so when I met Kim, she was maybe 19 years old, 18 years old, and she was working in a restaurant, juggling 3 different jobs as a high school student. And I remember asking her, so do you want to go surfing with me? Like, low key, do you want to go on a date with me? And she's like, I don't know how to surf. I'm like, perfect. You grew up on Maui and you don't know how to surf? How is that possible? So, the next day, got her out in the water, and we just laughed, and no pressure. I think that's important to not pressure your partners. No pressure. Just have fun. And even the next thing I did for the second session was bring another girl, or bring another kid, bring another partner, bring another couple, because it's a great way to be able to motivate them, and as well have them just open their ears a little better to someone who's not constantly buzzing,
Love that. And again, that fun and joy theme keeps coming back. I do remember, I think I mentioned to you you're a very serious competitor, of course, but you always have a smile on your face and you're fun. And you've come in before in a headstand. Again, by the marriage proposal story, we know how gifted you are. But in a serious race, I believe it was Battle of the Paddle, you were in a headstand riding the wave in because you were alone on the wave. And, you knew you had your place where it was, and you did that. And another skill that you have that I think everyone has to look up, if we don't get it, hopefully we get it on the SupConnect Live Facebook discussions page, but that you can go out through the surf. I mean, enough of us are challenged just by getting over waves and staying standing, but you get there and do a flip and land it. I mean, can you even explain that? I don't think I've seen anybody else ever do that.
Well, I've always been obsessed with backflips. Let me start with that. As a young kid, I've just always been jumping and flipping off of everything and anything I could. And so naturally, when I got onto a sup board as a 12-year-old, I was like, I wonder if I could do a backflip on this thing. And so I found out it was a lot easier to throw a flip with a little extra bump, a little extra push.
Uh-huh.
And so paddling out into a wave was like a ramp. And so, you could get that little extra bounce and really leap into a flip. And one of my first times landing that, I was felt pretty cool. I was like, wow, I'm a surf ninja, man.
Yes. Well, we think you are too, and that's a super impressive thing that you can do. Christy again from Canada is talking about what a great teacher and coach you are. We're getting a lot of shakas and motivation. So again, you motivate on so many levels and inspire. That's and I love that you seem like an old soul. Because how old are you now, if I may ask?
Just turned 26.
So yeah, about the age of my youngest child. So you do have so much life ahead and have done so much. You should be proud, but as you said, you don't have, somehow you have that without ego, and you are very humble about and give back, and the sharing on so many levels is absolutely amazing. If we have a little bit of time, I don't know if you want to get technical at all. You are again gifted. We have a lot of new extensions of water sport. I don't know what to call them. Some of them I know are recurring. That foiling was around and has come back. Yeah. We've got the wing, which is a wind surfing. Is a wind use of wind. You want to mention a couple of those new things? And I think you said coaching include on the athletic side would include some of those, because again, you were right in there learning them from the beginning.
Yeah. So, well, on this note, I didn't plug it before, but I'm going to do a selfish plug here. So my family and I run a surf camp and a surf school for almost 8 years now, I want to say. And we've been able to bring in friends and passionate ocean enthusiasts from all over the world and give them a chance to live with our family and to be a part of our community and to get a taste of what it's like to live the Hawaiian waterman lifestyle. And so throughout these surf camps, it's some of my highlights, of my time home is being able to share, our community, my favorite spots, my family, and these sports. And hydrofoil has been one of those more popular, demanded things lately at our surf camp and our surf school, as well within the athletes in the surf and windsurf and SUP world. And so hydrofoiling is pretty exciting, and it's been definitely taken over a big part of my life, which says a lot because I juggle a lot of different hobbies in the ocean or activities in the ocean, and hydrofoiling has really captivating me because the ability to ride anything. I mean, from running off the sand like you would with a skimboard, and jumping onto the board and pumping and riding waves that aren't even breaking, that you could never catch before on a surfboard or a paddleboard, and be able to surf. And you start looking at the ocean so differently. And that's what's, I think, a unique element of being a waterman or a waterwoman, is once you take on a different practice in the ocean, we see the ocean differently. We see the wind, we see the current, we see the waves rolling in from the horizon. We start to become aware of the reef and where it is under us. We start to see these changes in the sand formations, and this is what connects us to our environment. And so hydrofoiling to me has allowed myself to tap into a whole nother level of an understanding of the ocean. It's a new thing, of course, and it reminds me more of flying than it does surfing. And so to me, that was the most unique thing, is like getting up and flying like a few feet off the water and feeling that energy of the rolling swell. Even if I'm in the middle of the Pailolo Channel, 15 miles in between Maui and Molokai, I could be generating my own speed and power and traveling great distances that I never could before.
Yeah.
And so it's very unique, and it's something that can be taught. I've taught over 400, 500 people, I want to say, in these last, it's really slowed down recently since coronavirus.
Right.
But we teach a lot of foil lessons, and it's been so fun to see the stoke and the enthusiasm on the students' face. Almost more exaggerated than any other sport I've taught is the excitement when someone gets their first flight on a foil. You know, like that's been fun for sure.
I bet,
and
absolutely.
The wing is a whole other spin-off of it. You know, the wing, just like foiling, has been around for a long time. But the wing has been around and used in the past on ice sports, used ice skating, used in the snow. Now, all of a sudden, with hydrofoil, we can utilize this wing, and it works. And so it's like, wow, this is awesome.
All these next level things are so fun. We got a lot of people when Hawaii, when this thing opens up again and travel starts again. I think you have some new customers and returning that want to go back to the camp there or go for the first time. I want to go.
Please look us up, Maui Sports Adventures, and we'd be happy to get you guys out there. I mean, what is the next thing? What's it going to be, Kristen?
Good question. I mean, I just love the versatility of stand-up paddleboarding. We've had people who enjoy it in lots of different ways, and you, in terms of ocean, pretty much do them all. And I think you've done even inland stuff like whitewater and some of those that, you know, are people's focus in different places. So that is a good question. What will be next?
It's still the most diverse sport I practice, most definitely. I mean, I can enjoy paddleboarding pretty much anywhere in the world and on any body of water. We've competed on a world level in rivers in the middle of Europe, on lakes in the middle of our country, the U.S., in wave pools in the United Arab Emirates in the middle of a desert. I'm not even kidding you. You know, through wildlife refuges and in almost every continent so far. You know, the only place I haven't paddled is Antarctica. And so, you know, from river rapids to lakes and oceans and seas and ponds and pools, it's just so fun.
And it all connects us, as you've said, but all of those connect us to nature and to the out of doors and to water. And that, I mean, there really is science behind that. We are truly better people because of it and affected by it in a positive way, and that it's almost a healthy addiction that we need to get outside. That's one thing I have to say. It's a sad situation we're in right now, but I have never seen more people outside. I happen to live near a hiking trail, and we actually have a bit of a problem as a tourist town because you're not supposed to be, but everybody's realizing it, and luckily not everybody's doing well, but I work in the industry too, so there's stores that are selling stand-up paddleboards right now, like you wouldn't believe, because people are realizing it's naturally socially distant.
Bicycles on the island right now.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Bicycles and stand-up paddleboards are like
sold out. Yeah,
love that. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah, it's wonderful. Except at the moment we're supposed to be all spread out. I just did go on my first trip in a 3-day camping downriver camping trip down the Colorado, the flat part. It wasn't whitewater. Amazing. What an amazing reconnection with nature after, I'm able, like you are in Hawaii, to get outside. We were a little more cut off. Hawaii at some point, I completely understand why they don't want tourists, but being a tourist economy, at some point we will get to come there. I'm hoping by the end of August, because I already have plane tickets with my family.
But, on that note, I'd like to just say that, as bad as this situation is, and don't confuse the fact that people are suffering from this. Maybe not as much as many other things that we're faced with, but it's still a serious situation, although we can find bright in it, right? We can find a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. And for me and for you, it sounds like as well, it's happening. And it's having that extra time to spend with family. And it's being able to, like here in Hawaii, and I'm not saying that all local families are stuck to the 9 to 5, but I'd say most local families who live in Hawaii really have to work their okole off to meet ends meet, to make their living, right? And so right now, with no work, you see local families on the beaches.
Yeah.
and you see local kids in the water. And to me, it just fills my heart with so much joy to see these kids having the opportunity to go to the beach with their parents,
Yeah.
to go to the beach with their family, because we get so caught up in trying to just work our ass off and to keep getting ahead and to get ahead and get ahead, and it's money just drives us too much.
Yeah.
And so during this time, it's kind of forcing us to slow down
and think about what's important. I've heard some really good quotes about getting back to normal, but really thinking about what that is. And as Amy has suggested here, it's been really good for our environment to get a break. Less, you don't live in dense population. Air pollution, the air is clean, the water is clean in a lot of places. I just saw a picture of Venice, Italy, where they've never had the water settle in the canals.
Isn't that insane? Those photos are crazy.
Stuff like that is really crazy to think. We're giving a break. I got to go in the Back Bay in Newport. The amount of wildlife and bird noise and everything was pretty amazing. So again, it's a serious. People have died, and people have lost people. So we don't mean to put anything, on that side. But there will be good things that come out of this, and hopefully, a focus on the environment will be something that could come out of this as things go forward.
Oh, Kristen, I tell you what, I'm worried. I'm worried about that because I feel like so much of the work that we've pushed for over the last decade is already being reversed within just a few months of our entire world forcing plastic gloves, plastic masks. You can't bring your own reusable bag. You can't fill up an airplane or a bus. You have empty seats in between people. It's not efficient. I know it's a serious situation, but it seems like our industry, our world is just reversing all the work that we've done on environmental side, and almost like people are just going right back into the swing of things because it's the guidelines. It's what we're
but hopefully we can continue to raise awareness and get that flipped back. There were some temporary, I agree, huge setbacks, but like you talked about the kids, I've got kids running all over this neighborhood, and the moms and dads are home, and I've never seen so many fathers outside with their kids riding bikes and such. It's there's some beautiful things that come out of it. Well, I was supposed to keep this to 45, but I could talk to you all afternoon. I mean, so much to share. It was wonderful chatting with you. Wish you the best, and Kimmy and your whole family. Such a beautiful thing that you're doing and will continue to do. But let's make sure to put lots of ways to contact you and get in touch with you for people who watched it now or might watch it later. Again, you guys, it will be on YouTube if you want to tell somebody about this. SupConnect Live. It's a channel on SupConnect's YouTube. IGTV, it translates right away onto that. That's kind of within the last month how they do these live things. Yeah, so that's great. And so great to talk with you and see your smiling face.
Thank you.
And Flip Flop says aloha to Zane and Kristen.
Right on. Well, I appreciate everyone who tuned in. You guys motivate us to do what we do. And Kristen, you've been a huge motivator for me as well. Seeing you've been alongside in this industry as long as I can remember. And SupConnect as well. Like, I want to say a huge shout out, big mahalo to SupConnect, the founders, the teams, from the ones who aren't there to the ones who are there currently. SupConnect's been in my life for, I want to say, over 10 years now. And 10 years ago, I believe, I was the Grom of the Year with SupConnect. And that sent me into a really unique direction, put me on a path that, very well could have made me to where I am today. So I'm so grateful for the SupConnect community, for all you guys' aloha support. And please follow those links shared through here to watch the whole thing. Connect with us at Maui Sports Adventures. Learn more about my life on Beneath the Surface. It's available on Amazon. And please send me a DM right when this ends. And ask me if you guys would like to take on some online coaching or jump on a Zoom call with me, because I love being able to learn from this community and share with this community.
We do have an amazing community. Thank you all who are watching, and thank you, Zane.
Okay. Hey, call us when you get here too.
Okay. I would love to connect with you guys.
Shouting to me. Make sure she calls us when she's on Maui.
Love it.
Guys, aloha.
Thank you so much. Aloha.